There's a point in every man's life when he just has to break away from it all and hit the wide open road. See what adventures life has to throw at him. So I'm here on one of the world's longest and wildest highways. It's Argentina's Ruta 40, aka Route 40. Get ready for the road trip of a lifetime.
Covering more than 3,000 miles, Argentina's Ruta 40, or Route 40, runs the entire length of the country, along the edge of the Andes Mountains. In this episode, I traveled down the northern half of Route 40. Starting just south of the Bolivian border, I detour east to Tilcara and then south to Salta, before rejoining Route 40 in Cachi. I continue southward through the spectacular Valles Calchaquíes, to the nature reserves of Talampaya and Ishigualasto, and then into the winemaking region of Mendoza, where I detour into the Andes to end my journey amongst the country's highest peaks. Argentina's Route 40 is one of the longest and most spectacular highways in the world. Immortalized by Che Guevara's motorcycle diaries, the route is made up of a patchwork of older roads joined together by newer segments, creating a near unbroken chain that runs from the Bolivian border in the north to the tip of Patagonia in the south. My journey starts here, in the middle of nowhere, less than 100 miles from the Bolivian border.
Wow. They told me this was going to be rough and ready. This could be either really scary or really fun.
Hailed as the Great Argentinian Project, Route 40's creation began in the 1930s, and as you can see, it has yet to be finished.
Ah, no brakes, no brakes, no brakes. Just kidding. Yeah! Woo! Uh-oh, lady, time out, dog on field. Okay, I'm gonna stop for a minute. ¿Qué es esta route? ¿Es esta Ruta 40? No entiende. She does not understand. All right, let's ask this guy here. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Esta Ruta 40? Sí. Ah, bueno. See, this is it. All right. This is Route 40, Ruta 40. I gotta say, I was imagining it to be a little bit more of a road. This is a main highway, and it just feels like I'm driving on mud. Seriously, what happens when it rains here? Where's the road? I feel like I'm driving in a stream.
Here, in the village of Susques, is where I take my first detour onto Route 52 to the historic city of Tilcara, passing some of northern Argentina's most spectacular scenery along the way. Route 52 is an important thoroughfare between Chile and Argentina, so the road here is much better. This is llama country. The high-altitude plains here are perfect for grazing, but the llamas roam free and often onto the road, creating a danger to motorists. But if you get a chance to meet one up close, they can be very friendly. Bless you.
Look, llamas. Hello there. Hello there. It's okay.
Continuing east, the road crosses one of Argentina's most brilliant natural landmarks, literally. 10 million years ago, this was a lake, but over time, most of the water evaporated, leaving a sediment base of pure salt.
Pretty cool, huh? There's this one little road right in the middle of it to drive us through it. Otherwise, I'd probably have to go all the way around. And it looks like it goes on and on forever.
The Salinas Grandes, or Big Salt Flats, cover more than 300 square miles and have been supplying the region with salt for centuries.
Can you imagine how many meals it would take to use up all this salt?
Leaving the salt flats, the road climbs to an altitude of 13,500 feet before descending into the multicolored valleys of Purmamarca. Here on the outskirts of Purmamarca town is a kaleidoscopic wonder that just can't be missed.
Isn't this gorgeous? They call this the Seven Colors Hill because it encapsulates all the 7 colors of Pachamama, or Mother Earth. Let's see if I can count them all. Pink, peach, orange, tan, brown, turquoise, dark green, red, purple. Wait.
Less than 20 miles from Seven Colors Hill is the bustling little town of San Francisco de Tilcara. Considered to be the oldest continually inhabited settlement in all of Argentina, Tilcara has more recently morphed into a popular base for travelers looking to explore the region. Despite the dreadlocks, internet cafes, and arty restaurants, the town hasn't lost the charms of its traditional way of life. And the Central Market is a great place to soak up some local flavor.
I'm told that in Tilcara, their specialty is llama. So I'm following my nose. I'm smelling some smoke and some barbecue. This is what I'm smelling. Look at that. Se llama?
Asado de llama.
Asado, the barbecued llama. Oh my goodness. So are you the llama mama?
Sí.
Yeah. Have I come to the right place or what? This is what I want. Wow. I can see why this is such a crowd favorite here. It looks like it's cooked very beautifully. All right. Now for the test. The texture is like pork, but the flavor is like beef. Just really llama-y.
Now for the local pick-me-up. Forget coffee or tobacco. Most people here prefer a notorious little leaf imported from Bolivia.
One thing you'll find up here in the north that you won't find in the south is the coca leaves being shoved in the cheeks. I'm going to try to find some here in this vegetable area.
Northern Argentina shares many of the indigenous customs of the high Andes. One of the most common is cocoa leaf chewing.
Sí, sí. Can I try it? Para mí?
Sí.
Sí.
Nowhere near as intoxicating as cocaine, the cocoa leaf is used to combat altitude sickness and as a mild stimulant. I'm thinking it could be helpful for those long drives ahead.
It's a bit like chew in the States, I guess, with tobacco. Gracias. Muchas gracias. Say hello to my little friend.
Northern Argentina has a long history predating the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century. Here, on a hill overlooking Tilcara town, are the Pucara, ruins of a pre-Columbian settlement and fort dating back over a millennium. Heavily restored in the 1950s, the Pucara provides a great insight into how the indigenous people of the region lived long ago. Guadalupe is a local guide.
Believe it or not, we live over here around 3,000 people. They just build their housing stone by stone. Yes, as you can see, don't use any cement or anything in the middle.
Right. This
Yeah.
is just a balancing act.
Exactly. Do you want to take a look inside?
Yeah.
Over here we will see, yes, how they were these little houses. And that is a good proof to see how small they were
Yeah,
too.
this is the actual size, huh?
Okay, in this tiny house lives around 5 members of one family.
5 people were living in this one room.
Yes.
As a farming community, prosperity relied heavily on the land. To ensure a bountiful year, sacrifices were made regularly to the gods, and in particular to Pachamama, the indigenous name for the goddess Mother Earth.
They came over here with a llama, the animal, and they make the sacrifice in this kind of table. This was like an altar.
Just llamas.
Just llamas.
You sure?
I'm totally sure. But when the Incas conquered all this area, they start to make human being sacrifice.
What the hell kind of religion was this? That sounds like a cult. The Inca took control of the city in the 15th century, but their rule was short-lived. Just 100 years later, the Spanish arrived, pushing out much of the indigenous population. Wow, what a view. The ancient culture that once thrived here may be long gone, but many of its beliefs and traditions live on, including a modern form of tribute to the Earth Mother Pachamama.
We're doing the release of the devil ceremony here, and apparently the guest always carries the flag, so I don't really know what's going on, except that it's happening. Right in my face.
Performed in the lead-up to Carnival, the ceremony combines carnival traditions introduced by the Spanish with symbolic offerings to Pachamama.
Very exciting with the drums. Dun, 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 dun. One. Woo! All right, that's a lot. She's gonna get drunk. There we go. Some coca leaves. See? Drink. Okay.
The offerings are meant to thank Pachamama for the bounty of the past year and ask her blessing for the year to come. According to tradition, white powder is smeared over everyone as a way to make them appear equal in the eyes of Pachamama.
All right, I see a knife. Make me a little nervous.
By cutting a hole in the ground and sealing the offerings with a stone, the ritual symbolizes a giving back to Mother Earth. Now the party can really begin.
Who's got the after party? Huh? Your place? I bet your place is wild. See? See? Woo! ¿Cerveza? See? No? Ah, let's go. Come on,
Still off Route 40, I'm heading south, away from the high arid mountains and into the lush green valleys of Salta, one of the country's most celebrated cities. Salta is the capital of Argentina's Salta province. Busy and bustling, it's the biggest city in the far north of the country and boasts a long and sophisticated history. Founded in 1582 by the Spanish, Salta prospered as a trading post for mining projects in the northern mountains, and its situation on rich arable land made it a center for farming and food production. The architecture around Salta's main square is a testament to its wealthy and successful past. I'm heading west over a stretch of Andean foothills to pick up Route 40 again in the colonial village of Cachi.
This is crazy. It totally is a different world than yesterday. I've got to go over this mountain to get back to Route 40. Wow, out of nowhere. The cow. Come on, cow. Move over. Coming down now. Just turns on a dime, off and on, thunder, lightning. Oh, man.
The journey to Cachi is only 100 miles. But in conditions like this, it can take most of the day.
My fear is that I'm not going to be able to get through. This whole road could get washed out. Then what do I do? Now we're on on a single narrow road. Quite tough driving conditions. Look at this tree. Ah, hello, tree. Are you kidding me? Let's throw in the most extreme conditions and obstacles as you're going around this edge of a cliff. I wish these windshield wipers would go faster. Look at the walls. It's knocked out in sections where cars are just plowed right over. That is scary. Makes for an exciting adventure. Gotcha, here we come. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. Okay, it's a nice road for a change. This is nice. Rain's letting up a little bit. That's nice. The road's getting a little wider. That's nice. I can see. That's nice. Things are starting to look good.
The steep, winding climb to the top is called the Cuesta del Obispo, or Bishop's Ascent, and takes you to an altitude of 11,000 feet before the final descent to Cachi, where I'm staying the night.
Almost at the top. Getting closer. Look at that. Low clouds. Sure are pretty. There we go. We're at the top.
The sleepy little town of Cachi is the perfect rest stop for a long journey south. I'm staying at the Nevada de Cachi, right in the center of town, where rooms with private bath run as cheap as $15 a night. Fresh fruit included. These grapes? Sweet. Established by the Spanish in the 18th century, Cachi is a jewel of colonial architecture and a good base for treks into the surrounding mountains. There's not a whole lot to do in Cachi, but soak up the laid-back atmosphere. Maybe try some of the local wine and pay a visit to the town's pride and joy, the Iglesia de San Jose. Built in 1796, the church is a fine example of small-town colonial architecture and incorporates a number of features unique to the region.
At a glance, this looks like a typical colonial church, but at a closer look, all the wood in this church is made out of cordon cactus, which is the kind of cactus that's just abundant around here. The altar, the ceiling, the pulpit, the frames of the pictures, even the confessional stand. You know, Jesus would have been proud, I think. He was a carpenter, you know. He's like, that is very resourceful.
Back on Route 40 again, I'm traveling south, some 500 miles, through the spectacular Valles Calchaquías and vineyards of Cafayate to the prehistoric nature parks of Talampaya and Ixigualasto. This stretch of highway, if you can call it that, is considered to be one of Route 40's most diverse and beautiful. It's also one of the trickiest to drive.
Every day, we don't know what we're going to get. You just wake up, you get in the car, and you drive. You take it all in. Sometimes it's going to be wet, nice paved roads. Sometimes it's going to be dry and gravelly, like today. Wow. Yeah.
gravel. Oh, sheep. Okay, this is not going to work for me, guys. Look at this, in the middle of the road. I have no idea that their lives are endangered. Either cross or step aside. Apart from its scenery, the Valles Calchaquías is known for its skilled artisans. Just outside the village of Ciclantas, poncho weaving is the specialty. Here they are. Here they are. Look at these ponchos. They're beautiful. Woven from llama, alpaca, and vicuña wool, the poncho was traditionally worn by Native Americans. But when the Spanish arrived, its warmth and durability were so admired, it was exported across the world. Oh, darn it. Why am I going to have to stop and get one? In Argentina, a poncho's color often represents the province it comes from. Here in Salta province, it's red and black.
Buenos dias, amigos. This is Mrs. Guzman. She and her son made this, and it's amazingly perfect. Muy bien. All right, I'll take it. How much? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántos? ¿Sí?
¿Cuánto sale?
Sí.
1,900, 2,000 pesos.
1,000, 1,001? What's the extra one for? This road is not made for passing. I think it would be very difficult if two of us came up head to head right about now and one of us had to reverse all the way. And I'll tell you who it would be, too. It wouldn't be this guy. Moving south along Route 40, the landscape changes dramatically. The green peaks of the Andean foothills give way to dusty cliffs of red rock. Everybody stopping, taking pictures. Looks like somebody carved all that out. But the journey's highlight has got to be the strange formations of the Quebrada de las Flechas, or Canyon of Arrows. The canyon is believed to have formed some 20 million years ago when faults beneath the Earth's crust caused giant slabs of rock to tilt upwards and burst through the surface. This is the insides of the Earth just being shoved up. You can really see how this place was made. It's so amazing. Over time, erosion from glacier flows and wind helped sharpen their edges into points, hence the name. When you see stuff like this, you just know aliens exist and they're living here. I mean, this is out of this world. And it just goes on and on and on. I keep thinking I'm seeing things. This looks like a ghost. In a weird way, that just looks like it's meant to work together. The horse and this terrain. Within the space of a few miles, the canyon opens out into the green and fertile valleys surrounding Cafayate. The region is known for its wine production. The specialty here is a dry white wine called Torontes, which grows well in high altitudes. So many times you just drive over these streams that are clearly there all the time. It's like, don't they believe in a little bridge? Nice down here. We're not in the north anymore. You can actually feel it's a bit warmer. Oh, I still have my coca leaves, which are legal in the north of Argentina, but down south are not, and I don't want to get pulled over. Goodbye, little friends. You've been good to me.
I'm entering the province of Rioja, the same name as a Spanish red wine. And judging by the color of the landscape, it makes perfect sense. Central to it all is Rioja's crimson pride, Talampaya National Park. Talampaya is one of Argentina's natural wonders, but you can only tour it on official buses and 4x4s. Or like me, hire a bike for the day. The park's main feature is its canyon, a monumental testament to the creative forces of erosion.
Look at these rocks. Look like they're just gonna fall down on my head. Got my helmet on now.
With sheer cliff walls climbing to nearly 500 feet, it's like traveling through a giant red metropolis. In fact, many of the rock formations here have been given architectural descriptions.
Wow. You really can't get an appreciation for the scale of these walls until you're right up next to it. Look at this design here. They call this one the chimney because it looks like a chimney. But what's cool about the shape of it is it allows a neat little echo to bounce off all the other smooth walls. Listen. Hello! Somebody's there? What's your name? My name is Zay. His name is Zay too. Bizarre. What are the chances of that? That section of the canyon there is called the Cathedral because somehow, by the grace of God, erosion has just carved out a perfect shape of a cathedral, complete with the spiky pillars. There's even an ominous face looking over the whole thing.
Encompassing more than 800 square miles, the park includes wide expanses dotted with strangely shaped remnants of collapsed cliffs.
This structure here is called the Tower, and it is pretty mind-boggling to figure out how it's still balancing after all these rains, these heavy rains. And who knows, maybe it won't be here for that long, but right now they call it the Tower. I personally would name it the dog waiting for its master to come home because it looks like a seated dog just waiting by the door. And oh look, way over there is the monk, his master. I actually call that guy the monk. It's all open to interpretation. Hey dude, I think your dog's waiting for you over there. You ever gonna come home?
Millions of years ago, this part of Argentina was home to some of the largest and most formidable creatures that ever walked the planet. Dinosaurs. Less than 50 miles from Talampaya, in the neighboring province of San Juan, is one of the world's most extraordinary prehistoric sites, Ixigualasto Park. Home to the oldest and perhaps most significant find of dinosaur remains on the planet, Ixigualasto is a paleontologist's dream. But visitors are welcome too, and can even tour the key attractions in the comfort of their own car. But it won't protect you from the dinosaurs.
Over 200 million years ago, this was a very different place. It was hot, swampy, and teeming with dinosaurs.
In its heyday, Ixigualasto would have made Jurassic Park look like a kid's carnival ride. This was the stomping ground for a whole range of dinosaurs, including some of the oldest in the world, like a vicious little carnivore known as the Herrerasaurus. The park park is also the only place on Earth where nearly every stage of the Triassic period is continuously represented. Triassic is older than Jurassic, by the way. This section of the park is called the Painted Valley, and you can see why. Each color represents a different period in history. In fact, most of the fossils were found right here. Now, nobody knows what Ishigualasto means for sure, but the theory is that it's an ancient indigenous word which means land without life. And that's probably because the Indians were finding dinosaur bones here long before scientists ever were. The first dinosaur fossils to be officially discovered here were found during a mining expedition back in the 1940s, and they've been unearthing them ever since. They call this the Valley of the Moon. Want to know why? Take a look. Houston, I can't find the flag, Houston. Apart from its dinosaur history, Ishigualasto has many incredible geological formations. This one is called the Sphinx. But perhaps the most intriguing is the ball court, which has baffled geologists for decades. Any idea what these might be? I'll give you a hint. It's not fossilized dino dung, although they did find an area not far from here where all the dinosaurs went to the bathroom, making it the oldest known toilet in the world. They even have some of the fossilized poo in a museum. The most popular theory claims that hundreds of millions of years ago, minerals and silt began to collect around objects like fossils and bones. Calcite in the soil cemented the deposits, making them resistant to erosion, and over time, the tiny balls grew, layer by layer, into the spheres we see today. But even if you're not into geology or dinosaurs, Ishigualasto is guaranteed to inspire the imagination. This place is incredible. It's like the land that time forgot. I mean, look at the mountains. It looks like a stegosaurus laying down taking a nap. Honestly, if a real dinosaur came around the corner right now, I don't think I'd be at all surprised. I'm continuing 150 miles south on Route 40 before diverting westward into the Andes Mountains to explore the unique climate of Leoncito. Driving Route 40 is fun, but can be hazardous. In the summer, roads can be washed out by rain, and falling rock often obstructs mountain passes. I've seen a lot of hitchhikers along this road, and you know, it's not something I grew up doing or was encouraged to do, but I feel like here it's safe, it is a thing to do. So as long as they don't look like psycho killers, I think I'm gonna try to pick the next person up. Ooh, here's one. All right. Here we go, wish me luck. This may be the last time you ever see me alive. He looks harmless. He's got a little man purse on. He does look pretty ratty, though. ¿Cómo estás? Thank you. Yeah. My hitcher, Pablo, is from Buenos Aires and heading only a couple hours down the road. Seems like the perfect opportunity to get an Argentinian take on Route 40. Tell me about Route 40. It's supposed to be one of the wildest, longest roads in the world.
Here everybody says La mítica Ruta 40, the mythical 40 road, you know? It's like the spine, let's say, of Argentina, you know, that keeps our back steady, you know. because it runs all along the Andes.
Yeah.
It is a road that unites almost every province in Argentina. So in a way, Route 40 is a symbol of union and at the same time a symbol of the pride of every local culture.
In America, Route 66 is the real spirit of Americana. So you would say that Ruta 40 is the spirit of Argentina.
Definitely. I feel more Argentinian going through this road. This road is a way to find yourself and to connect to your roots, your roots. It's like initiation travel.
It's the route to your roots.
It's the trip of your life.
I say goodbye to Pablo and detour off Route 40 again, heading west into the mountains to one of the driest places in the country, Leoncito. This is the Pampa de Leoncito, the plain of the Little Lion. At a certain time every day, this turns into one of the windiest places in the world. And while it's wild, windswept, and desolate, some people are determined to ride this little lion. The Pampa del Leoncito attracts visitors from around the world, eager to enjoy its natural energy, the mighty wind that sweeps down from the Andes every afternoon around 5 p.m. If you time it right, this place can literally blow you away. It's called land sailing, and it's just that, sailing on the land. So I'm here with Pablo, who's one of the kingpins around here in this sport, in this area, and he's going to show me how to do it.
We have to go like him, you know?
Yeah.
Your helmet. Please see it.
Okay.
Your seat belt.
All right, strapped in. Here we go.
All right.
Ready to do some damage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The wind is our motor. It comes in
The wind is our motor. The only way to stop also is going into the wind.
So we don't have brakes.
No brakes here. No brakes.
Woo!
Let's go, man.
Here we go.
Woohoo!
Here we go. Leoncito is considered to be one of the best places in the world to land sail, thanks to its strong, reliable wind and the smooth, hard surface that stretches over 5 miles.
We have to change the sail because it's too windy.
This is like a NASCAR pit changeover. I think he's crazy because he thinks I'm ready to do this in the driver's seat. Just like sailing on the sea, the trick is to keep positioning the sail so it catches the wind. If you get it right, on a day like today, you can reach speeds of over 60 miles an hour. Very romantic. Hanging out. The world record, however, was set by a Frenchman who managed to reach a speed of 128 miles an hour.
63.9.
It felt like 190. It's pretty incredible. Just using nature and going that fast. Absolutely incredible. And you're just laying there going along for the ride.
I said it's magic.
It is magic. Leoncito is a great place to camp. With clear, dry skies and virtually no light pollution, it's also one of the best places in the country to stargaze. I'm not going to bother pitching a tent when the stars are out so bright like this. I just want to sleep out in the open. Tonight, I'm sleeping under the Milky Way. You might think this would be the perfect place to bring a telescope. Well, it is. Here, high above the Pampa, is Argentina's premier observatory, the Complejo Astronómico El Leoncito, otherwise known as Casleo.
Casleo has been assisting astronomers from around the world in their mission to unravel the mysteries of the universe. And you don't have to be an astrophysicist to come here. They welcome visitors from everywhere. And I mean, everywhere.
Since its completion in the 1980s, Casleo has participated in many cosmic studies, including the analysis of the sun's surface and the movement of the universe. These days, most of the work here is done on computers, but you still need a telescope to capture the images. So I'm checking out the one here with Casleo engineer Jose Luis Giuliani.
That is a huge telescope.
The telescope weighs 40 tons and contains a mirror with a diameter of 2.15 meters, allowing it to capture images up to 2 million light years away. The telescope and dome are moved into position depending on what part of the sky needs to be studied, and Jose is going to give me a hands-on demonstration.
Attention. I was going to fall over right now. Give me a railing to hold on to. This is bizarre. It plays tricks on your mind. It feels like we're moving.
By tilting the telescope at a particular angle and spinning the dome so that the open hatch is aligned, just about any section of the night sky can be observed. But the best thing about the dome is outside.
Come on. This is the very nice. I moved the dome 360 degrees.
300 for me.
For you. One moment.
Oh, I'm honored.
Okay.
Wow. It's like being on a carousel ride for adults. Look at this. All right, I'm just going to stand here and take in the view that's moving towards me. Look at those snow-capped mountains. I want one of these everywhere I go.
For my final leg, I rejoin Route 40 to explore Argentina's world-famous wine region around the city of Mendoza, before heading into the high Andes to finish my journey beneath the tallest peak in the Western Hemisphere, Aconcagua. Mendoza is one of Argentina's premier tourist destinations, making this stretch of Route 40 one of the busiest and easiest to drive. Irrigation of fresh water from the mountains has transformed the dry desert landscape into one of the world's top wine regions, and Route 40 cuts right through the heart of it. Most wineries here welcome visitors. I'm checking out one of the most progressive, Aufournier. The philosophy here is New World wines deserve New World production, hence the cutting-edge design. Ramiro is taking me to Aufournier's lab for some tests, the kind you don't do at school.
So you can see it's a very modern lab, and what we do here is try to analyze all the parameters that you need to keep controlled day by day in the wine. So for example, here we are making volatile acidity to see the levels of acetic acid in the wine.
So you guys take all this science into consideration and create the perfect wine.
Exactly.
The optimum wine.
Is what we do here.
What makes Mendoza the ideal valley for wine?
First of all, the altitude. Very high and the sun is strong. So as a defense mechanism, the grape has a thick skin. That's very important when you make red wine. You know, you have more concentration. And the other thing is the soil. very stony, that give you mineral wine.
Minerals from the stones.
Yeah, finally the water that we use for our vineyard, it came from the mountains. The snows melt and we use that water to irrigate the vineyard.
Yeah, we got the perfect conditions.
Yes.
So let's try them. I'm going to need a bucket because I'm drooling. I mean, it's
Yes.
all this talk of...
You want a napkin? What we're going to taste is a 2013 Malbec. Malbec is the most famous Argentinian variety. It is the wine that put Argentina in the map.
Tell me the history of the Malbec.
Malbec is originally from France. Malbec means bad mouth.
Bad mouth?
Yes, so that's why the French didn't want it, because the weather in France wasn't appropriate for this variety.
Let's try it. It looks like a beet.
Yeah, it's almost
really red.
violet.
I have a very big tool for this.
That's excellent for the job. You can be a winemaker now.
Oh, that is good. I don't taste any alcohol at all. That is just delicious, absolutely zero aftertaste. Oh, that is perfect. I could stay and sip wine here all day, but it's time to move on. The province of Mendoza is home to the tallest peaks in the Andes, second only to the Himalayas, so I can't think of a better place to end my journey than beneath the near 23,000-foot daddy of them all, Aconcagua.
There it is, Aconcagua, the highest peak in all of the Americas. As I finish my first half of Route 40 and transition into the second, into Patagonia, I think this is the appropriate time to pay tribute to Pachamama, who's been so good to me on Route 40. She's shown me all her nature and really made me appreciate everything she has to offer. Here's some of Argentina's finest Malbec. Here's the second half. I can already feel it getting